What's going on, Packer Nation? Welcome back to another episode of Packers Latest. I'm your host, Taylor Bretl, and if you're returning from previous videos, welcome. If you're new to the channel, I welcome you as well. Love to build a strong community here with fans across the country of the green and gold Green Bay Packers. Happy Victory Monday to all those watching out there. The Packers break that two-game losing streak. Forget that game against Carolina. Forget the game against Philadelphia. We're focusing on right now, the win that got the Packers to move up to 6-3-1 on the season, a 27-20 win over the New York Giants. Lots to get into about this game, lots of injuries, lots of mistakes, but lots of positives as well. Gonna start off with the quarterback room. Jordan Love early in this game took a hit to the shoulder and was out for some of the game, went to the blue tent, then he went into the locker room. Lots of question marks there, how serious it was, if he'd return. In his place, Malik Willis came into the game and truly ran the offense. He didn't just, hand it off as a backup quarterback sometimes does or did some very safe passes. No, he took the Packers down the field and finished it off with a touchdown, hitting Christian Watson for the first Packers touchdown of the game. And Malik Willis also ripped a 16-yard rush early in his outing as well to set the Packers up for success. So huge props to Malik Willis. We saw these flashes from him last season when Jordan Love was hurt. And this is a big reason why when rumors were spreading, would the Bengals try to get him? What would the Packers give up? I don't think the Packers were listening to many offers because they knew what they have in Malik Willis. Heck of a trade for Green Bay to get him from Tennessee. He has filled the role when needed very, very well. But you look at Love on this game, he did end up coming back in, which was very good to see. Obviously, holding your breath to see how serious it was, especially when you see him go to the locker room, but appears to not be too serious as he came back into the game and finished it all the way down to 0 minutes and 0 seconds in the fourth quarter. Love finished going just 13 of 24 with 174 yards, but he did have 2 touchdowns and no interceptions. So maybe not the prettiest on the numbers from a completion percentage standpoint. I mean, he's near the upper 60s for completion percentage on the season. This one, not that pretty, but 174 yards, 2 touchdowns. It got the job done. It had the Packers leave MetLife Stadium with a win. So you look at it, it's still concerning. My big thing about Jordan Love is he needs to learn to slide. He does not slide much. He's a bigger quarterback. He likes to duck his head in, take the hits, and that clearly got him hurt in this one. It could be worse in the future. He's got to be safe when he's running out of the pocket, especially for positive yards. But got to give props to Love, got the Packers the win, and had a beautiful strike to Christian Watson, which I'll get into in a second, when the Packers were down 20-19. So got to give props to the quarterback duo of Malik Willis and of Jordan Love. 2 big reasons why the Packers won this game. Obviously, it wasn't pretty at times, but also there were some drops in here. Romeo Doubs had a big drop on a 3rd and 11 on a great pass from Jordan Love. Lots of things that need to be fixed, but hey, it's a win, and a win is a win. As someone said one time, I've heard it before, trust me, that saying goes in certain stances. I'm going to say it is approved here. But I mentioned Christian Watson. Let's get into it. Christian Watson with a 2-touchdown day. Got to clap it up for him. This is a guy, talk about injuries, has battled hamstring injuries forever. Got that ACL injury against the Bears last season in Week 18 in a game that didn't matter too much outside the rivalry itself. Was so upsetting to see, but Watson now has been back for a couple of games, and he had a 2-touchdown day. Finished with 4 catches on 5 targets, 46 yards, and those 2 touchdowns. His first 2-touchdown game since December 2023 in that Packers win over the Kansas City Chiefs, which I believe was 27-19 final score. So pretty similar here. That game was at Lambeau, and it was the Chiefs. This one on the road against a struggling and hurt Giants team. But hey, both of them resulted in a win. So very, very, very impressive for Christian Watson. He also just had 2 touchdowns all of last season. Again, that's a guy that was hurt a lot. He'd be out one game, back for another. But really nice to see. Talked about this in the previous episode where the Packers really need to air it downfield more. Stop being safe, stop doing these short passes, air it down the field. That's what they did to Watson. It clearly worked. They did this to other receivers as well. To go back on that Jordan Love point, a beautiful 3rd down pass, about 32 yards to Savion Williams, that set up that eventual game-winning touchdown to the man, Christian Watson. That's the wide receiver 1 stuff that Packers fans love to see. It's just been such a hard trek for Watson, but very great to see him doing that. On to the next point, though, with injuries, man, like I said, there were many, and there were many big ones. Already losing Kraft for the season. Elton Jenkins could be for the season, it appears. And now we have to talk about Josh Jacobs, who was removed from the game after a knee injury. This would be a huge blow after Kraft, after Jenkins, after Love got shaken up, luckily came back into the game. This loss of Josh Jacobs could be huge. This is a quote from Adam Schefter. He put out a tweet. Rob Domofsky tweeted this as well. Adam Schefter kind of added onto it. It says Josh Jacobs' knee injury is not believed to be season ending, but more tests will be done on Monday back in Green Bay. So, with this being a Monday, there will be a lot to monitor all day today, and I'll make sure to keep you guys posted in the episode on Tuesday. A quote from Matt LaFleur as well on this. It says, I think anytime a player, especially of his magnitude, but anytime a player doesn't finish a game, you're always concerned about the welfare of them. That kind of kept it broad, but yeah, this injury that Josh Jacobs might have attained to his knee is going to be very concerning. Josh Jacobs, a guy that entered this game with 11 touchdowns on the season, and it is just something that you do not like to see. But you have to give credit to who is behind Jacobs in Emmanuel Wilson, filling the shoes in what he does best. We've seen flashes of Wilson, just usually not in there because Jacobs is such a good running back, one of the best, not just in the NFC, but in the NFL. But Emmanuel Wilson stepped up. He had 40 rushing yards, he had an 11-yard touchdown, and he had a catch on the 2-point conversion to push Green Bay's lead to that 27-20 mark that eventually stuck for the final score. So got to clap it up for Emmanuel Wilson too. These guys just step up for one another. You even have to give it to Chris Brooks. You look on that third down, I mentioned that Jordan Love threw to Savion Williams for that about 32-yard completion. If you go back and watch that play, watch Brooks and watch his blocking. Maybe Brooks isn't the guy getting the carries and it's more Wilson, but when you need blocking, Brooks is there. These two backups stepped up huge for the Green Bay Packers in the many absences this offense had, and it was very, very, very nice to see because it was extremely needed to come away with a win. On to our last point, though, it is how there is still a lot to clean up despite this win. Once again, Packers winning 27-20. They were favored by just about 7 to 8 points, so they did play to that, but I think a lot of people wanted to see a little bit more facing a New York Giants team that had just 2 wins on the season and were missing numerous names, including their starting quarterback in Jackson Dart. I will say, like I said earlier, this did snap the 2-game losing streak to move to 6-3-1. And they also finally scored points, 27 points, after getting just 7 against the Eagles and 13 against the Panthers in that 2-game losing streak. It is nice to see the offense back and alive. But here's a couple words I wrote. Drops, missed interceptions, and missed extra points. Those are not sustainable. Lucas Haversick was in this game because Brandon McManus is battling that quad injury once more. Don't get me wrong, it was a windy day in New York, but missing 2 extra points is not going to win you football games, especially when you get into the playoffs. Luckily won this one today, but that is not something that's sustainable, something that needs to be cleaned up. Haversick looked great. Obviously, it's just a 2-game sample size. This isn't some big signing of a kicker. It's someone the Packers needed to pick up, but he filled the role really well. But, with that franchise record 61-yarder that was inside a dome, no win there, easier conditions. You go to a MetLife Stadium where it's windy, good amount of breeze. I think it was about 20 miles an hour at some points, maybe even more, and that causes 2 missed extra points. You just cannot have that happen. You just can't have it happen. I'm not trying to make it sound easy. And don't get me wrong, Younghoe Koo for the Giants, he missed an extra point himself. So Haversick wasn't the only kicker on the field to do that, but you just cannot be doing that when you're trying to compete for a high-level playoff spot and compete for your division of the NFC North. Talk about the drops. I just do highlight that one on Romeo Doubs. I don't mean to pick on him, but that was a rare drop. Doubs has made a lot of great catches. He has been the guy to go to for Green Bay, staying healthy, obviously got a little shaken up today as well, which was something to monitor, but he got hurt last week a little bit against the Eagles as well. Was good there, should be good here, but still something to monitor. Drops for Green Bay, that has been an issue in the past, seem to have been cleaned up this season, and now it's starting to circle back. Don't like to see that at all, lots of things to fix again. And to my point on Jordan Love's stat line, that 13 to 24, could have been a couple more completions in there, but not trying to put blame on anyone. These are just the lots of things that you have to clean up, especially with 5 games left against that NFC North. You got 1 against the Lions because the Packers already beat them in week 1. And then you got 2 against the Vikings and 2 against the Bears. You cannot have these mistakes happen. Does not matter if you're home. Does not matter if you're on the road. You got to clean these up if you want to win your division and make a playoff push. But hey, it's Victory Monday. I'm going to give him the credit. You got to stay positive. Not trying to bring it down at the end of the episode after the many positives that we saw in this game and coming away with a win. But you just have to clean things up if you want to compete at the level that the Packers were kind of expecting to, especially with that hotter start to the season. But that's all I got for today's episode. I appreciate you guys tuning in as always. Happy Victory Monday to you. I will see you guys tomorrow. And as always, go Pack, go.